Hello, everybody. Thank you for being patient. And if you're tuning in with us live today, go ahead and let us know where you're joining us from, and also what language are you learning. I know many of us are learning sign language, but I've been talking to some of you in the comments, and some of you are learning Russian and Spanish. And that is really great. And so today we're going to be going over 3 secrets to learning a new language that often get overlooked. If we are meeting for the first time, my name is Chris Gorgeous, and I help others overcome various challenges that come with learning a new language. And so they can become fluent in less time. And so today, again, we will be going over 3 things that are often overlooked by many language learners. And just to go over a couple things before we get started, today we are going to be hosting our first giveaway during one of these live classes. And I asked around on social media, and the most popular choice for a giveaway is a custom designed t-shirt. And so you can see on the screen, we have a few designs available. And so at some point today, we will be picking one person from the comments to give one of these shirts to. And if you happen to purchase one of these shirts today, I do want to let you know that we will be giving 100% of the profits of any of these shirts to the National Association for the Deaf, or the NAD. And you can also use the promo code charity10, which will give you 10% off. And you can find them at teespring.com /stores/ASL Basics. I'll have links to all of this stuff in the description area down below. Or if you're joining us from Facebook, I'll have those in the comment section as well. And so if you would like to support us directly, you are welcome to leave a super chat if you're watching this on YouTube. It's basically a paid comment that will highlight, and we will be able to answer and respond to your comments in real time. And another way is by our Patreon page. And so we have a Patreon page at /ASL Basics, and it's a way that can help us support us, but we also want to give out more than we receive. So we on our Patreon page, if you become a member, you would get access to workshops, exclusive videos, lessons, and a lot more. So feel free to check that out if you have the time. And we are so grateful that everybody that has been able to join us today. Looks like we're getting more and more people coming into our class today. And I want to welcome everybody. And we are doing the giveaway for the shirt, but I also want to give something to everybody that is joining us today live. And I will be giving away 2 free months of premium access to Skillshare. And I'll be mentioning a couple classes that are on Skillshare today, particularly during secret number 2. But it's a great program, and it's a great service, and they have thousands of classes. They have ASL classes and Spanish classes and German classes and a bunch of other classes as well. So as a thank you for everybody that has joined me today live, I will be giving away 2 free months of premium access, and the link for that is available in the description area below or in the comments section on Facebook right now. So you can go ahead and enjoy that as a thank you. How about now? Do we have sound?
Now we have sound. Thank you.
Oh man, thank you for being patient. I did not realize that our sound was not working that entire time. Okay, are we good?
I think we're good.
Okay, go ahead and let me know in the comments if you have sound.
Yes, it's working. We can
Yes,
hear you.
yes, we can hear you.
Woo-hoo!
Yes, it is working. I can hear you. Okay, well, thank you so much for your patience. I really appreciate the feedback, and hey, that's what happens when we go live, right? So thank you for being patient, and thank you for joining us today. I'll be going over a lot of different resources and books and things, so I also want to let you know that I will be including links to everything that I mentioned in today's class in the description area below if you would like to dive in a little bit deeper. Okay, so with all of that said, we're going to go ahead and dive into the 3 secrets of learning a new language, and that often go overlooked. So the very first one that we will be going over today, and if we can get that on the screen, is mindset. And mindset, what does that have to do with learning a new language? Well, everything. And we'll just go real briefly about the differences between a fixed mindset and a growth mindset. You may have heard this before, but a fixed mindset. And these are things that we probably told ourselves. I know I have in the past. So you would be saying things to yourself like, well, I'm either good at it or I'm not. Or when I'm frustrated, I just give up. I stick to what I know. My abilities are unchanging. My potential is predetermined. I can either do it or I can't. And here are three big ones about failure, feedback, and challenge. Failure is the limit of my abilities, or you're afraid of making mistakes. Feedback and criticism are personal. You take any kind of criticism personally, or challenge. Are you afraid of being challenged, or do you not like a challenge? And so, if you have that fixed mindset, that can really make things difficult. And imagine how hard it is going to be to learn a new language when you are afraid of making mistakes, you take feedback personally, and you are afraid of taking challenges. And just a real quick thing about challenge, and this is a graph of the Yerkes-Dodson law about challenges, and it looks a little intimidating, but it's actually really pragmatic. So if it's not challenging enough, you're going to get bored and tired. If it's too challenging, you're going to get stressed and restless and give up. But we really want to find that optimal challenge for ourselves, something that can keep us focused and engaged. And perhaps you might be thinking to yourself, man, I have a fixed mindset. And let me know in the comments, have you told yourself any of those things? Like, well, I'm either good at it or not. I'm a math person or I'm not a math person. I'm a language person or I'm not a language person. And those are definitely things that I've told myself in the past. But yeah, let me know if that's something that you've struggled with or something that you've told yourself in the past. But is this something that can be changed? Can we change our mindset? And that brings me to a really interesting quote from a book called The Unlimited Memory, and it's by Kevin Horsley, but the quote is from Jim Rohn. And the quote goes, "If you don't like how things are, change it. You're not a tree." And so many times we get into a rut of saying, well, I guess I am what I am. I can't change it. But if you don't like the way something is, then you can't change it. You know, we're not this inanimate object. We're not this tree swaying in the wind. And so let's go ahead and change that mindset. So let's go from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset. What does that look like? So a growth mindset, you would be thinking things more along the lines of, I can learn to do anything I want. My effort and attitude determine my abilities. I am inspired by the success of others. I like to try new things. And going back to the failure, feedback, and challenges, failure is an opportunity to grow. And you're not afraid to make those mistakes because you understand that those mistakes will help you grow and learn. Feedback is constructive. You don't take it personally, and you understand that feedback is actually going to really help you in the long run. And challenges, your viewpoint isn't that you're afraid of challenges, but you really relish in them and understand that if you challenge yourself, that's also going to help you grow. And so this is like really powerful stuff. If you can change from a fixed mindset and really adopt a growth mindset, you're going to not only be able to learn a language much faster, but you're going to be able to learn anything faster and accomplish your goals much more readily, understanding that you have the power to do these things. You can learn to do things. And so if you'd like to learn a little bit more about mindsets, there's a great book by Carol Dweck, and she literally wrote the book on mindsets. And it's called Mindset, The New Psychology of Success. I'll leave a link to it in the description down below. And again, you can kind of see the difference of a fixed mindset and a growth mindset. And just a couple quotes real quick to close this first secret up. The first one is by Napoleon Hill. And that quote goes, "Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can also achieve." And it reminds me of that one quote by Henry Ford where he says, whether you believe you can or you can't, you're right. And it's so important to understand that the way you believe and the way you think really can dictate what you can achieve. And so being able to understand that you can achieve what you conceive and believe is really important. And this is my next favorite quote. This is by Walt Disney. And let me know if you're a Disney fan or if you have a favorite Disney movie. But this quote by Walt Disney, "All our dreams can come true if we have the courage to pursue them." And those dreams can be different for everybody. But if you're dreaming of becoming fluent in a new language, then you have to have that courage to pursue it. And that's going to lead into our second point, habits. And this is something that a lot of us may skip over when we're starting to learn a new language. Many of us will want to just dive right into it, download Duolingo or start looking up lessons or looking up the alphabet or how to say real simple words and phrases. And we skip the whole habits part, or we skip the whole mindset part. And if we skip those two parts, the learning a language is going to be really difficult because it's a marathon and it takes a long time. And here's another one of my favorite quotes by Benjamin Franklin. He says, "If you fail to plan, you're planning to fail." So if you want to succeed in learning a new language, then you're going to have to sit down and really write out your goals and come up with a plan. And so you can establish those habits that are going to make learning a new language a success. And that reminds me, running a race is a marathon, not a sprint. It reminds me of Hal Elrod. He's the author of the book, The Miracle Morning. And a real powerful book, but this is one of the quotes from it. He says, "Every goal we have is preceded by a process. The secret to success is to be committed to the daily process. Create excitement and enthusiasm for the possibility of achieving your goals." Now, the reason why this is so powerful is that Hal Elrod, when he was 20 years old, he was in a car accident so severe that it literally killed him. His heart had stopped for 6 seconds before the doctors revived him. And when he came out of a coma, days later, he woke up without the ability to walk. And the doctors told him, "You'll never walk again." And you know what he ended up doing? He ended up not only walking again, but he completed an ultra marathon that was 52 miles long. And he attributes that to that daily process. And so many of us maybe negate or skip the whole habit building part and just kind of haphazardly jump into learning a new language. But if we jump into it with a plan and we establish the habits and be consistent, we can really learn a lot. And here's a really quick idea to put that into perspective. So a child that is 1 year old to 6 years old. So in a 5-year period, that child learns 14,000 words. And he can understand double that, like 28,000 words. But he has a vocabulary of over 14,000 words. And this is from the textbook, A Concise Introduction to Linguistics. But if it sounds like a lot, it sounds unfathomable, but you know what that averages out to be? It's less than 10 words a day. And that's really achievable, right? If we sit down with a goal and come up with a plan to learn 10 words a day, in 5 years, we're going to know over 10,000 words. I mean, how powerful is that? And so that really goes into showing the power of habits. And if you'd like to understand habits a little bit more, you can check out the book, The Power of Habit. And again, I'll leave that in the description area down below. But I want to highlight a class real quick. And so this class is by Thomas Frank. And he has a couple classes on Skillshare, and one of them is called How to Build Habits That Last. And again, if you are joining with me live, you'll have free access to this class. And he has really great material as far as goal setting and really how to kind of initiate and put into practice these habits and creating these attainable, achievable goals. And so for us to be successful at learning a language, again, we have to sit down, come up with our goals, and come up with a plan and figure out ways that we can be consistent so we can build those habits. So that's secret number 2, habits. The third one that I wanted to share with you all today is another thing that kind of gets overlooked: enjoyment. So let's talk about polyglots for just a second. So there's this one polyglot, and if you're unfamiliar with the term, it's a polyglot is somebody who knows many languages. And there's a woman named Lydia Machova, and she has fluency in 8 languages. And if you go on YouTube, she has this TED Talk, and she talks about what polyglots have in common. And one of the things that they all have in common is that they find an enjoyable way to learn the language. In her case, one of the languages she learned was German, and the way she did it was she turned on Netflix and she found Friends. She turned the language to German. She turned the subtitles to German, and she would watch an episode or two every single day. It was something that she enjoyed and she was familiar with. And after a few months, she started laughing at the jokes, and she's kind of was this aha moment to where she realized that, wow, I'm starting to really understand this language. And it was because she found a way to make that process enjoyable. And so maybe you're thinking, well, how can I make learning a language that typically is not the funnest thing in the world into an enjoyable process? Well, if you're learning a verbal language, then finding content in that target language and immersing yourself can go a long ways. And that could be Netflix, or it could be YouTube, or just reading books or watching videos, or listening to podcasts or songs or music, and just really immersing yourself and exposing yourself to as much of that language as possible can really help you build that foundation, almost on autopilot, because you're doing something that you enjoy. Now, if you're learning sign language, that can be a little more difficult. Well, we can't just, skim through Netflix and change the language to sign language. But there are a lot of programs and movies and TV shows that have sign language in them. And if you go to my website, I actually have an entire article that lists not only like ASL dictionaries, but movies and TV shows, and shows for kids and shows for adults. And there's lots of things that we can kind of passively take in, but also actively take in. And another thing is that we can maybe join a group. Every week I host ASL group practice sessions for those that are learning sign language and are able to pair students up. Many of you that are watching this right now may have been involved in those group class or those group practice sessions. And they can be a really powerful way to learn the language. Lilia H says talking to people in their own language is really powerful to me. Yeah, absolutely. And that leads me to a couple other quotes from another book. This is one by Gail Gregory, and she wrote a book called The Motivated Brain. And it's a really great book for educators, but also for learners to understand how the brain works. And one of her quotes is, "If learning is interesting, challenging, and meaningful, doing the work is its own reward." And that is so true. If we really can find ways to make that process interesting, it's your learning is going to be on autopilot. And here's one more from the book Unlimited Memory. You can remember mountains of information when you are interested in the subject. And his whole book is about how you can improve your memory. And again, if you find it interesting, you're going to remember the content that you're consuming. Think about when you were younger and you were obsessed with a band or maybe a movie, and you knew every detail. You knew every band member. You knew every song. You knew every album. And, why was that? It was because you really enjoyed it, and you found other people that enjoyed that as well. And so much of learning a new language is kind of tapping into that, finding a way to make it interesting and meeting others that are interested in learning as well. I see a couple comments like Sherry Smith. Can you highlight that real quick? Sherry Smith, she says that the group sessions have really helped me. She's somebody that is learning sign language. Here's a good one. Janvi Patel, I watched Switched at Birth as a teenager, which was a show that motivated me to learn sign language. Switched at Birth is an incredible TV show, and I would recommend it to anybody that is either interested in sign language or is actively trying to learn sign language. They have deaf actors and actresses. They use sign language in every episode. They touch on deaf culture, and it's really an amazing show, and it's an entertaining way to not only expose yourself to the language, but to learn the language itself. And I see some other comments. Wow, I'm learning 4 new signs every day. This is from Annette. I've been doing sign for 2 years and started this after you said learn new ones every day. In the last 20 days, I have learned another 97 signs. Wow. And look at the consistency, right? 4 new signs every day might not sound like a lot on paper, but wow, I mean, if you can stay consistent with that, you learned almost 100 signs in that time period in less than a month. And so really, these are the types of things that can make learning language or learning a new language powerful, but also much more engaging. And like, how good does it feel to have that big of an increase in a short period of time? And it's those small victories. And if we can kind of set those small milestones and pause for a second and think of the victories and celebrate those, it can really help us keep that momentum going forward. Here's another one from Squirt KDW. My receptive skills are really improving because of the group sessions, and my confidence is growing. And this is by from Kieran. Yeah, so if you're learning sign language and you're having a hard time finding somebody else to practice with, I'll leave a link in the description area down below to where you can join our weekly sessions. They're free to join, and we host them every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Pacific time, 8 p.m. Eastern. And they're a great opportunity to really kind of force yourself to use the language, be paired up with somebody that is at your level, and and to network with other students and other people that are learning with you. Signing time is good. 3Ds Rex. Signing time is good for adults and kids alike. So again, if you're learning sign language, and we might be turned off as adults to watch a children's show, but Signing Time by Rachel Coleman does an incredible job of helping you build up your basic vocabulary. And I know my mother-in-law, she memorized the alphabet song from that series. And not only did it help her memorize the entire alphabet, but she was able to learn all these signs associated with each letter in that song. And yeah, it can be really powerful. And again, it goes back to enjoying the process, right? Craig Hodson says, I agree that Switched at Birth is a great show. Marley Marlin is incredible. Yeah, absolutely. And I really like hearing everybody's comments today. And pretty much, those are my 3 secrets that I'd like to share with you all today. And just to kind of quickly review those secrets, is the first one is mindset. And, kind of pause and contemplate, what kind of mindset do you currently have? Do you have a fixed mindset where you think that you're either good at something or you're not? Or do you have a growth mindset to where you understand that you can actually learn anything that you put your mind to? Secondly, habits. Are you sitting down, putting down your goal on paper and creating a plan and a system in a way that you can be consistent on a daily basis? And it doesn't have to be a huge unattainable goal. It could be as simple as 4 signs a day or 4 words a day. And look at how much you can learn if you stay consistent at it. And lastly, enjoyment. Find ways to make it enjoyable, and you will be really surprised at how quickly you can learn a language when you enjoy the process. Looks like you guys are talking about the group practice sessions, and so I'm curious about what all of you think. So those are just 3 things that I wanted to share with all of you, and I know learning a new language can be really challenging, and I try to cover things that often go overlooked. And, when we learn a new language, we tend to want to jump right into the vocabulary. But if we don't have the right mindset, and we don't have habits, and we don't find an enjoyable way to put all that together, then we're more than likely, we're probably going to give up eventually. So it's really important to put those 3 together. And just out of curiosity, which one did really resonated with you? What was it? The mindset, the habits, finding enjoyment? Let me know in the comments. So we're getting close to the end of the class, and we're going to be picking a winner for the giveaway. Before we do that giveaway, though, I do want to let you know of a couple things that we have on offer for everybody. The first one is, if you want to go a little bit deeper into learning a new language and to be successful with it, I only covered 3 things today, but I do have a free guide that goes over 6 steps to sign language fluency. And again, this is a little more focused for sign language, but those 6 steps are actually applicable to learning any new language, even verbal languages. And so feel free to download this for free in the description area down below. And also, if you're interested in learning about how to make the process go faster and accelerating your learning and becoming fluent in less time, Both my wife and I offer one-on-one programs, and so if you would be interested in any of that, you can find more details on either our website, aslbasics.com, or on our Patreon page, patreon.com/aslbasics. And of course, we also schedule free consultation calls. So if you want to set up a 15-minute video call with myself or my wife, you can also do that let me see if I can get the link up. And the banner's right here on Calendly. And so if you want to set up a free video call with myself or my wife, you can do so with the link right there, calendly.com/ASL Basics. And again, I'll have that link down in the description area below. And one last thing I want to share with everybody, and this is something that we're really excited about. My wife and I just last week got our first children's book published. It's called The Fox Family Adventures, and it's something that we've been working on for the past 2.5 years, really shortly after our first daughter was born. And you can see some of the concept work that we did in the final product, and pages among pages. And it was a much bigger project than either one of us expected it to be. But it's finished, and that's a picture of what it looks like in its final form. Just wanted to share that with everybody. It's something that both of us are really excited about. And if you'd like to learn more about that book, we have a link in the description down below, and it's actually available on Amazon right now. If you type in The Fox Family Adventures, or my wife's name, Johnny Gorgeous, JohnniGorges. Either one of those will bring it up, or you can check out the link in the description down below. Okay, so we're going to choose our winner for the t-shirt, and that winner is going to be Leela. You will receive a free t-shirt, and if you are here, go ahead and leave a comment so I know that you are still around and that we can contact you and send you your free shirt. And again, if you didn't win and you want to go check out the shirts, you can go to teespring.com stores ASL Basics, and again, we can have that link on the screen here. And if you use the promo code charity10, that'll get you 10% off of your entire order, and all the proceeds that will be going to the National Association for the Deaf if you purchase it today. And again, I want to thank everybody so much for joining us for the class. And I'm curious, what would you be interested in us doing a giveaway for the next live class? Would you be interested in... Okay, Leela just chimed in, said she's here. So congratulations, Leela, and send me an email at chris@aslbasics.com. We'll go ahead and put that on the screen real quick. So send me an email and let me know what size, what color, what design, and we can go ahead and get that shirt shipped off to you. So again, congratulations. And for the next giveaway, what would you be interested in winning? Would you like us to do another giveaway for a t-shirt, or would you be interested in winning one of the books that we mentioned today, or maybe ASL flashcards, or a sign language book, or maybe a free one-on-one session with either myself or my wife? I see I like merch from Olivia Randall. We have lots of thank yous. Thank you, great live video. And again, thank you for being so patient with us. Didn't expect to have so many technical difficulties. And before we leave, we can open this up to a live Q&A, AMA style, ask me anything, and we can answer any questions that you might have.
Hi, guys. I'm here too.
And yeah, I want to congratulate my co-pilot today. She was the one controlling with the comments, with the...
I got a little trigger happy sometimes. Sorry, guys. It was a little too soon. My bad. How are you guys doing? I can't see you guys, but I know you're there. I see you in your comments. What did you guys think of the class? The 3 steps, the 3 guides to learning a language. I know for me, the one that stuck out the most was habits. mainly because I don't. I mean, that's one of like the biggest things that I won't do is like habits, like setting up these habits. That's just, I don't do that. So when he was going over it, and I was like, oh yeah.
We have
Hi.
a fan. Sherry says hi.
But yeah, so yeah, super excited about our book that just came out. There's we're doing an interview tomorrow about it, and what started it, like why I started writing this book, and stuff. So super excited about it. Very excited. How can I help my 4-year-old son like so when it comes to for children having to put together these signs, it's going to take muscle memory and practice. So for you, teaching their hands how to do it, so you're going to have to manipulate their fingers in order to develop that M. Same thing with in. It's going to take time, especially because they do have small little fingers and they can't quite get it over there. My 2-year-old daughter struggles with that. Like she struggles with the I love you sign because she can't get her 2 middle fingers down. So she's always like, mommy fix, and I'm
she'll
like,
try to forcibly put it down, or like the I, she'll have to hold her fingers down.
She holds her own little fingers. But so yeah, definitely doing that. You're gonna have to just kind of help manipulate their fingers and getting that muscle memory, and that it'll take time, but eventually they'll develop that, and it'll just kind of come to them really quickly. Same like M. In P is another one that's kind of hard for kids to do. Oh, I'm not good at the camera. P is kind of hard, mainly because there's a lot of stuff going on there with your fingers. But yeah, they'll using yourself.
Modeling the language.
Yeah, modeling the language and just manipulating their hands for them and getting them to practice is really going to help with that.
We have a question about the book. What age is it geared to?
So it's geared for like if you're reading it to your 2-year-old or your 1-year-old all the way up to about 3rd, 4th grade. The book is mainly about something happens and learning the lesson in forgiveness and friendship. And this is the first book of a number of series that are going to come out to follow it. However, with this, because we both work in the sign language field, he focuses on educational interpreting, so he works with a lot of deaf students. I work with deaf adults in the medical field. What he sees on a daily basis with some of the deaf students struggling to connect with what they're reading. So we did decide, and we're going to be working with different deaf ones in our community to incorporate a deaf character into our next book. And so we're super excited about that. My illustrator is also excited, a little bit nervous, because there will be sign language in the book. The character will be teaching the classmate different signs like hello, how are you, things like that, these basic signs to help communicate in the classroom. So we're super excited about that, and then we're going to branch off from there, mainly because we want our deaf students to feel that they have something to connect with in the when they're reading and stuff. You know, they have this character that they can relate to. So we're super excited about that as well.
So we have a few ideas for giveaways.
Cool.
So we have a couple autographed books.
Uh-oh. Busted.
And we have t-shirt,
Autograph book. Cool.
free one-on-one session.
Awesome.
Anything, very generous. ASL flashcard. So we have a mix.
Those flashcards are really cool. These I think it's like 500 flashcards or something. There's like, it's like this huge thing of flashcards. They're so awesome.
Yeah.
So awesome. Yeah, absolutely.
Lots of highs. What? Hi, Brooke. Hi, Craig.
Hi, guys.
Hi, Olivia.
Can we?
We have
can
as
we
far
see
as
the
like
interview.
The interview. Yeah. So I'm actually talking to Anne Bernard, who's going to be the one that interviews us. She actually was the same one that, if you've seen my video, the intro to ASL class that I did about a week or two ago. She was the one that I did the class for, and for her audience, and her whole thing is trying something new every day. And so she does a 365 first challenge, to where she challenges her audience to try something new every day. And so tomorrow it will be our story of we tried writing a children's book for the first time, and little did we know how big of a process that actually is. But yeah, that interview is going to be on her Facebook page, and I'm gonna talk to her this afternoon and see if we can figure out a way to maybe live stream it, maybe even do a giveaway to give away one of the copies of the book, just so we can kind of share it around and share our excitement with everybody. But I'll make a post on Instagram and on YouTube, and I'll send out a newsletter if you signed up for those, you'll receive that.
I will tell you something really quickly. We can laugh about it now, but we couldn't laugh about it Thursday night when we found out. But so super excited, we launched the book. We were like, yes, and we launched it on Tuesday. And then Thursday night, he just so happens to go through. Mind you, people had already ordered it. Friends and family had already ordered it. Super excited. And I'm in the kitchen and I hear him. He is upset. And I'm like, good grief. So I come in, I'm like, what's wrong? He goes, we made a mistake in the book. And I'm like, did we forget like a period or something? And he's like, no, it's way worse than that. And my heart sank. I'm like, oh dear God. So I'm like, what happened? Because there was an issue formatting some of the pictures, he had to redo a couple of the pages.
I had to redo all the pages.
Oh, my bad. Little did we know, one of the pages duplicated. So there was duplicate text. So the text didn't match the picture that was on it. And it had already gone out. And I'm like, pull the book, redact it, retract it, do whatever you have to do. I don't care. And so we got a hold of KDP. We had the book pulled immediately. He fixed it. He stayed up super late Thursday night, got it fixed, re-uploaded in reviews. I had to send out like all these messages to everybody. I'm like, if you can, cancel your order. I'm like, I'm so sorry. And my mother-in-law, she's an author. And she's like, it happens. I'm like, yeah, but it happened to me. I'm like, it's my first book. She goes, no, it happens. It's fine. My brother-in-law is like, if you're famous one day, it'll be worth a fortune. I'm like, no, like typos are worth a fortune. Like 100 years from now, that is going to be made fun of. Like, there is no way. Pull it. But luckily, only 6 people had ordered it. And most of them were family. So I'm like, okay. I'm like, you guys do whatever you want. But we had it fixed and re-put up there and everything. But oh my goodness, it's stressful. Writing a children's book or even like you're launching when you think everything's perfect and then there's a mistake. It's so stressful. I was so sad. Not as sad as he was though, because he put so much work into that. I felt bad. He was so upset. No! I'm like, oh Lord. So, but yeah. Sorry, I'm reading through the comments again. Did I miss anything?
They're asking if it would be an autographed copy of the book
for the giveaway for tomorrow. Absolutely. Yeah, we could do that. So we would order it, autograph it, and then we could mail it out to you guys. Absolutely. Was there any other questions or anything that you guys had before we signed off? I know there's a delay.
There's quite a few. There's a pretty big delay. But yeah, I like Cindy's comment. I love the mindset is what I'm interested in. Yeah, if you can unlock that mindset, that can be really, really cool. And I didn't mention it today, but I had it planned. Let me see if I can change the slide, which that's weird. It's locked up. Anyways, there's this poem that's called like the negative poem, but it changes depending on the way you read it. If you read it from top to down, then it's really negative. But if you read it from the bottom up, it's really positive. Oh, she figured it out. See, this is why you're my co-pilot.
Co-pilot.
But yeah, I won't read the whole thing, but like if you look at the first 3 lines and you read it downwards, it says, today was the absolute worst day ever. And don't try to convince me that there is something good in every day. Really negative, right? But you take that same exact poem and you read it from the bottom up and, picture you flipping your mindset. And all of a sudden it becomes, today was a good day. And you'll never in a million years hear me say that it's all beyond my control. And you read that entire thing going up and it completely changes that entire thing. And that's kind of what can happen if you're doing, if you switch your, and anyways, that can.
We had a comment.
Oh, love you guys. Love you all too. Yeah. But anyways, if you can switch that mindset, man, it can be a real game changer. And I think I saw someone else talk about habits up earlier.
Yeah, habits they're more beneficial than I think people realize. And I'll tell you this, I've been trying to learn Spanish for 20 years. And that's not an exaggeration. But when he was saying about that polyglot, I don't remember her name.
Lydia Machova.
How I love Friends. I can quote every episode of Friends from start to finish. Me, my mom, my sister, my sister-in-law, we are like legit. We're like, we can quote the whole series. But I thought when he told me about that polyglot who watched Friends in German, I went, I wonder if I put it in Spanish, kind of like that episode of Friends where the monkey turned the TV to Spanish. If I would be able to learn Spanish. So that's been something I've been wanting to do, except now it's not on Netflix. I'm gonna have to find it later. But so I'm like, that's an interesting.
Anybody else depressed that it's not on Netflix anymore? Friends fans out there? But
that's gonna be something that I am definitely gonna try myself. I'm like, okay, I'm a total TV junkie. I'm gonna try that. I want to try that idea of doing something like that. So I'm really looking forward to that. But I think that's pretty much it for all of us. Don't want to keep you guys here too long. But it was good talking to you guys, and hopefully we'll see you guys Wednesday night, 5:00. Right? It's 5:00, right?
5 o'clock Pacific, and I know a lot of you are actually on the East Coast, so 8 p.m. on the East Coast. And, again, they're free to join. I'll leave a link in the description down below where you can sign up. They're just held on Zoom. We've been having between like 25 to 35 students join us every week, and what we do is we pair everybody up according to skill level. So whether you're just starting learning the language for the first time or you're pretty seasoned and you're fairly fluent, there's a lot of people there that we can match you up with so you can get in that practice. And I'm not sure if you've caught one of my earlier classes, but I did one called the 3 Keys to Learning a New Language to kind of really unlock your potential. And the very first one was exposure or comprehensible input, basically like conversations in real life. And the second one was comprehensible output, basically kind of forcing yourself to use what you're learning. And the last one is feedback. And really, if you can go to those group practice sessions and be paired up with somebody at your own skill level, you can nail all 3 of those. You'll be exposed to the comprehensible input of real conversations. You'll be exposed or kind of forced to use what you know with somebody else, and then you're going to be getting feedback from that person. And hopefully, it's really positive and constructive. And remember, your mindset on that. Feedback isn't personal. It's something that can be beneficial and constructive. I really highly encourage anybody that is learning sign language, no matter whether what your skill level is, there'll be someone there that we can pair you up with. And there are about 15-20 minutes where you'll be paired up with another person in a breakout room. So it's just you and that other person. Turn your voices off and use what you know. You can join those for free. And there'll be a link in the description area down below. Or if you're on Facebook, I'll leave a link over there too. Let's see here. Oh, sorry, I'm watching this on my Android tablet, so I can't do the I love you emoji.
Aww.
It's okay, we understand.
It's okay. I only have until 5:30. Is that enough? Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. So we start them at 5 o'clock on the money, and it only takes us about 4 or 5 minutes to get everybody paired up, and then you'll have a good full 20 minutes, and so everything goes smoothly. You'll be done by 5:25, and you'll have time to spare. Olivia Randall, ditto. You see so many different voices and styles of sign. Yeah, absolutely.
So true. Yeah, if you're learning sign language, no one person signs the same. See here, I'm going to go on a rant. No one person signs the same. Even deaf people all sign differently. So you get accents. So people in California and people in New York, they both talk English, but they talk differently. Accents, things like that. In California, would say you all. People in Texas would say y'all. So it's
don't forget New Yorkers. Use guys.
Okay, I was like, I don't know what they say. I'm sorry. Exactly, it's the same language. It's just there's different variations, different accents, and sign language is no different. So you have this variation of the language. So when you're practicing with different people, people that you've never met before, maybe you're from New York and the other person is from Canada, or another person is from Washington or California or wherever, you're going to catch variations in signs. Last week, I think it was last week, we talked about the sign. Like I asked everybody, okay, how do you guys sign pizza?
Oh yeah.
And so everybody, every single person went pizza. That's how I learned it too until I moved to Central California and they signed pizza. I hate this sign because it hurts my wrist. But it's a variation of the sign. So when you're able to meet with these different people and you're able to see this variation in sign language, it's going to expand not only your own vocabulary because you're going to be able to pull vocabulary from other people, but it's also going to really improve your receptive skills and being able to read these variations of sign language. So I love our group sessions because if we have an odd number of people and so I'll get paired up with somebody, even I get to like join in and be like, cool, and I'm practicing with somebody and learning their variations of stuff, you know, their way of signing. So it's really interesting and very enjoyable. So yeah, I encourage anybody, if you're learning sign language and you want to join or you're just curious, don't be afraid of it. Mainly, I know a lot of people are like, I don't know anybody there. It's a safe environment. There is no judgment. No, like, wow, you sign like that, or you don't sign. No, not in this group because it's all about positivity, and being positive when you're learning a language really helps build up your English word for that, self-esteem. Your self-esteem, and that's good. You know, we don't. There's never any negativity with that. So joining this group, be curious. You know, if you're curious, you want to just kind of dive in there, and you are paired up with your own skill levels. So you're never going to be this advanced signer with somebody who's new, or new with an advanced signer, and you're like, there's kind of not really a a balance here. But everybody is trying to be matched with somebody that they can practice with and really converse with. So sorry guys, I will go on forever. He looked at me and I knew what that look meant, was like, shh.
Yeah.
So
well, you have a lot of people on the same page. We have Sherry Smith saying that learning variations is extremely helpful. Yeah. Craig Hodson, I agree. Regional.
Yep.
And yeah, it's sign language is like any other verbal language. You know, there is such a rich diversity, even in just ASL. And, you know, people in California sign differently than people in New York. And you'll see those different regional signs. And, you know, there's even sign language modes, ASL, PSE, C-signed. And then you go to other countries, and sometimes there's multiple sign languages in one country. And it's really it has a lot of parallels to verbal languages that many people may not realize. And like one of the most looked up questions I thought was kind of interesting is that many people ask, is sign language universal? No, it's not. And just like verbal languages, there's not one language. And, you know, there's pidgin languages, and like there's not even just one English. You know, English is spoken differently in the United States than it is in Britain. And that variety is there. Go ahead, Bill.
Well, just the example. So here in the United States, when you would sign "How are you," you would sign "How are you," but in Mexico, it's "Cómo estás?" It's like the only thing from another sign language that I know next to "nice to meet you" in Japanese sign language, because it's just the most adorable thing I've ever seen. Because culturally, they bow. So in Japanese sign language, nice, or actually they don't even do nice. They just do nice to meet you, and then they go wink. Oh, it's adorable, and I love it. So there's, again, these variations of sign language, and it's not a universal language like some people think, where they think, oh, it's just moving your hands. Oh no, it's so much more than that. And I was talking to somebody not that long ago, asking, because she was wanting to learn 2 different sign languages at the same time. Wow. Kudos to you, and I give you props. My brain could not have done that when we were first learning sign, mainly because I would have mixed the 2, which it happens. But I've always been curious about learning another sign language. And so I'm like, you know, it's like a thought, but I think I need to master Spanish first before I start doing other things. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, few other like Mexican signs. There's esposo and esposa. There's beer, like you're opening up a
I
beer
didn't know
bottle.
that. That's hilarious.
Dios for God, D for Dios.
Mm-hmm.
Satanas, I think, is the same as ASL
I
with the
think
horns.
so.
But yeah, like it's interesting that there's all these different signs. Lilia says Argentinian signs are completely different. Even letters are different. Yeah.
I've seen
Yeah, there's
some
so
of
many
these
different
they're
alphabets.
two-handed. I've
Yeah.
seen one, I can't remember which sign language it was, but their alphabet was done two-handed, and I'm like, oh my gosh,
It's a lot of work.
that's like a lot. Like ASL's one-handed, ABCs, your numbers, everything, bloop, one-handed. But I'm like, huh. And I can't remember which sign language it was, but it was double-handed for the alphabet, and it was just like, oh my god. I'm like, that's just crazy.
Boink.
Boink.
When you said boink.
Oh, I know. I have sound effects. But anyways, it was like we said, super awesome talking to you guys this afternoon. We look forward to seeing you guys Wednesday at 5. And we should be doing our next class. Can you pull up the calendar? I believe we're going to be doing these twice a month. So we should be doing the next class
so the next group practice session is going to be on the 3rd.
June 3rd.
I'll probably do another one of these style of classes in 2 weeks from now.
So probably
So maybe on the... And let me know, the last class I did was on a Friday morning. Today we're doing a Sunday afternoon. Let me know if you joined us today. Let us know, like, what time is more convenient for you, in the middle of a weekday, in the evening, or on the weekend. And yeah, just let us know, and then we can kind of plan it to what's most convenient for the majority. Tentatively, we can do it we can aim for the 14th, maybe 2 p.m. And if that time doesn't work for people, then we can kind of adjust it as needed. Another thing that I wanted to start doing, and tomorrow is June, and so what I want to start doing is workshops. So I just put up a poll on Patreon of like what workshops people would be most interested in, improving their fingerspelling or expanding their vocabulary, or maybe they want to learn more about classifiers. And so going forward, if you are a patron, you'll be invited to go to any of those workshops. And I do plan on doing more than one a month. Maybe we can alternate between doing a class one week and then doing a workshop the next.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you support us on Patreon, you'll have access to everything, and we can do a lot more of these Q&A styles. I really like how these turn out, because sometimes we get questions that we don't often think of, and we're really appreciative of being able to get those questions from you.
Mm-hmm.
And so we can have nice conversations like this, and kind of go into like regional signs and different sign languages, and is sign language universal, and all these other things.
Yeah.
Sherry Smith says that sounds great.
Any
day a little earlier for me, but if it takes less than 30 minutes, that's okay.
It normally would take less than 30 minutes if I wasn't here. That's why, like, his first class, it was a lot shorter because I wasn't here, because I'll just... So, yeah, I have to be kind of careful about that. Otherwise, I'll just keep going. My bad, guys.
Yeah, we have weekend, we have Sunday afternoon, then we have middle of the weekday. So we'll keep asking around and seeing what time works best for you. But if you do want to go in and benefit from any of the workshops that my wife and I are going to be doing on Patreon, you can go and sign up today, and it just starts at like $5. And you get a lot for that. You get exclusive videos. We have replays of the group practice sessions where both my wife and I will do Q&As much like this, and we'll give learning tips and just talk everything sign language and learning. Yeah, we have Q&As and just meetups all the time. And so, yeah, if you can join today, then you'll have access to everything that we'll be putting out in June. And we really appreciate meeting all of you and talking to you today.
Yeah.
And just giving the comments one last look over. Our group practice sessions on Wednesdays use Zoom.
Yeah.
And there'll be a link in the description down below where it has an article where it talks to you about, or it explains what those groups are, how to join, when they are, and kind of what you can expect. And
yeah, our group meetings are on Zoom. The classes like this are live. Because I was reading, it says, I'm new to your channel. Are your classes live?
New to your channel?
Lucky 11 right there. Up.
Oh, here we go.
I'm new to your channel. Are your classes live?
Yeah, so far.
So yeah, these are live. The group practice ones are held on Zoom. And then on his website, if you go to aslbasics.com, you'll see it under resource. I think it's under resources, where he has a group practice, and then you'll be able to click that link for the group practice sessions. I think that answered your question. Sorry. He's gonna pull it up right now, and I think he's gonna share it with you guys so you can see what I mean by that. So if you go to his website, aslbasics.com, and
so yeah, right here on the front, ASL group practice. And then you can just click that button, and it'll send you right to where you can join. So have an explanation, what other people are kind of saying about it.
How to join.
And then how to join. Here's the Zoom link. So when it's time, just click the link. What I suggest is you can create like a calendar event, and then you can just copy and paste this Zoom link right into it. Mm-hmm. And set up a reminder for it to go off like 5 or 10 minutes before, and then you just join the meeting and enjoy. You'll be paired up with somebody, and I recommend renaming yourself. Like in Zoom, you can add to your name and say like, I'm beginner, I'm intermediate,
your name, and then advanced. Beginner, intermediate, advanced, yeah.
And then the past 3 sessions, because you'll have the 20 minutes or so with another individual that's at your level, and then the rest of it is just basically us interacting with everybody live during the sessions. And so if you're on Patreon, we offer those replays of not the breakout rooms, but everything after that. These live Q&As that we do with all of the students.
Sometimes we have deaf that show up to our group practice sessions, so one of us will be interpreting for the other one. And so whoever's partnered up with the deaf person gets like a really awesome experience being able to practice with a deaf person. So that's super awesome. You're learning from the source right there. So that's, super great. But anything else? My brain. I need to go now, but thanks again. Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, sorry. I know this is, I think, longer than what I think a lot of people thought it was going to be. But yeah, we definitely enjoyed talking to you guys. We look forward to seeing you guys on Wednesday. And he'll be sending out on his Instagram and his Facebook, he'll post reminders the day before and the day of. There'll be like a countdown timer, the group, and it's going to count down as reminders for everybody. And then he'll also send out the reminders for this as well, for the next one that we're planning on doing. And then once we get the workshops going and everything, reminders will be sent out for that as well. So that way nobody misses any of those opportunities. But other than that, I think that's it, you guys. Again, it was super awesome talking to you guys. I wish I could see you guys. If
you join us on Wednesdays, you can.
Yeah, then we can see you guys. But if you guys need anything or have any questions, feel free to reach out. Again, he's Chris at aslbasics.com. Is that your email?
Right here.
There it is. Chris at aslbasics.com. If you guys have any other questions or want to reach out or have anything, we are here. But other than that, I guess that's it. So we'll talk to you guys later. Hopefully see you soon. Bye, guys.
Bye.